Okay, let's unpack this. Before we dive into today's deep dive, just a quick request from us. If you're finding this information valuable and you want more insights like this, please make sure you're visiting Mind Expansion Daily. Go ahead and like, subscribe, hit that notification bell on our channel there. It really helps us out. And hey, if you feel like sharing the love, you can always buy us a coffee. The link for that is right there in the description. We absolutely thrive on your engagement, so challenge us in the comments. Do you agree or disagree with our summary of the Philippines today? Let us know. And tell us, where in the world are you listening from? We're genuinely aiming to expand our reach worldwide, and it's great to see where you all are tuning in from. Okay, so today we're embarking on a pretty fascinating deep dive. We've got a collection of articles, some research, even personal notes about the Philippines. We're talking stunning landscapes, obviously, but also its incredibly rich culture and that really critical tightrope walk between booming tourism and, well, sustainable practices. Our mission really is to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge, helping you quickly get well informed on this captivating nation, exploring both its allure, which is undeniable, and the complex challenges it faces.
Yeah. And what's truly insightful, I think, from our sources right off the bat isn't just the sheer beauty everyone talks about. It's the immediate paradox. You've got this
Hmm.
nation, a global sensation drawing millions, yet at the same time, it's grappling with significant environmental degradation and infrastructural pressures. It really forces us to ask, what exactly constitutes success in tourism? And at what cost? We'll be looking at how this vibrant Southeast Asian archipelago, which is this amazing mosaic of indigenous, Spanish, Chinese, American influences, how it manages to captivate, while also wrestling with the very real consequences of its unpopularity.
That's a perfect framing,
Yeah.
because our sources definitely confirm the Philippines isn't just a travel destination anymore. It's become like a global phenomena. I mean, think about it. Condé Nast Traveler named it the best tourism destination back in 2024.
Hmm.
This isn't just some feel-good title. It's backed by, well, incredible growth. We saw an astounding 15% increase in visitors just from 23 to 2024. That's over 8 million people annually, pumping a massive $9.3 billion into its economy. Huge numbers.
Really huge. And it's not just the raw numbers either, is it?
No, exactly. Beyond the stats, you've got major events like hosting the 2015 Miss Universe pageant that reached 1 billion global viewers. It really put Filipino hospitality right there on the world stage. And the nation itself is economically resilient. We're seeing figures like 5.8% GDP growth in 2024, which is actually outpacing many of its Southeast Asian neighbors in ASEAN. The buzz is just palpable everywhere. Social media is flooded. You see posts like Philippines is the ultimate travel vibe, getting like 50,000 likes easily. It's just clear the world is discovering the Philippines.
It's an incredible success story from an economic standpoint, at least. It demonstrates significant global appeal and real impact. However, and this is where it gets complicated, the sources don't shy away from that critical question that naturally comes up. What is the true cost of this rapid rise? I mean, when a destination gets so popular so quickly, the delicate balance of its resources, its ecosystems, it's almost certainly strained. This popularity, while great in many ways, inevitably brings with it a flip side, as our sources really meticulously detail.
Yeah, exactly that flip side. So what happens when this kind of boom, this huge influx, meets fragile ecosystems and, frankly, strained public services? Our sources reveal a pretty significant flip side to all this growth. Let's start with environmental degradation, maybe. The examples are stark. Take Boriki's White Beach. It's a magnet, right? 2 million visitors annually. But it famously faced that 6-month closure back in 2018. Why? Raw sewage pollution. And the damage isn't just aesthetic. A shocking 30% of its coral reefs are degraded. That's a direct, stark consequence, linked straight to visitor numbers.
30% that's a devastating figure for a reef system.
It really is. And it's not just the beaches either. Deforestation is another major issue, largely driven by urban expansion, development. It's severely reduced forest cover down to just 23% of the land area. And that directly endangers iconic species like the majestic Philippine eagle. It's heartbreaking. On top of all that, you have Mother Nature herself. The country gets hit by, around 20 typhoons annually? The cost in 2024 alone was estimated at $3 billion in damages. These are massive compounding challenges for its natural wonders.
That paints a truly, truly sobering picture. What's particularly insightful from these sources, I find, isn't just the fact of the environmental damage itself, but how deeply intertwined the cultural identity seems to be with these threatened landscapes. The festivals, the food, It's all connected to the place. So the challenge isn't just about saving coral reefs, as vital as that is. It's about preserving the very soul of the nation, the experience for locals and visitors. The sources sort of hint that losing one ultimately means losing the other. It creates this unique, almost urgent conservation imperative.
That's a really powerful point. And beyond the direct environmental impact, there's this sheer strain on infrastructure and resources. It's tangible. Popular spots, like Palawan, even with its pristine image, they struggle. Overcrowded ports, not enough good roads. We're talking about figures like only 60% of tourism infrastructure meeting international standards. Imagine arriving in paradise only to find bottlenecks, delays.
Yeah, that's not the dream arrival, is it?
Not at all. And it's not just an inconvenience for tourists. This is very real resource pressure for the local people. In tourist-heavy areas like Cebu, our sources highlight that 40% of residents actually face water shortages during the peak seasons. That directly impacts daily life.
40% facing water shortages, that's critical.
It is. And while the government's Build, Build, Build program did add 200 kilometers of roads by 2024, which is a necessary step, obviously, the sources indicate that sustainable tourism policies are lagging significantly. Get this, only 10% of resorts are actually certified eco-friendly. That gap between the big development push and practical green policies really stands out.
It's that classic dilemma, isn't it? Rapid development versus long-term sustainability. And while you've laid out those compelling economic figures, it's worth noting that some of our sources suggest that this growth isn't always equitable. It doesn't always trickle down evenly. Some local communities, despite the overall national boom, feel kind of marginalized. They see more challenges than benefits from tourism in their daily lives. And that adds another layer of complexity, to how we really measure success. It's a tension that really resonates throughout the sources we looked at.
Absolutely. And to truly grasp both the Philippines' allure and its struggles, our sources offered this really vivid first-hand account. A week-long journey. It lets us experience both the beauty and the issues almost directly. It starts as you might expect in Manila. Huge, bustling metropolis, 14 million people. Our source explored Intramuros, the old 16th century Spanish walled city. Cobblestone paths, colonial routes, Fort Santiago. Lunch was adobo, of course. That iconic Filipino staple tangy chicken marinated in vinegar and soy. You find it everywhere. At night, Makati's nightlife was pulsing with OPM original Filipino music. Bands like SB19 were dominating the charts, apparently. But even amidst Manila's vibrant chaos, those traffic delays were constant. A real-time reminder of the infrastructure challenges we were just talking about.
Right, bringing it back to the practical reality on the ground.
Exactly. Then a flight to Bohol. This revealed the surreal chocolate hills, 12,268 conical hills. They turn brown in the dry season, hence the name. Draws 500,000 visitors a year. The landscape felt truly, almost otherworldly. And a visit to a tarsier sanctuary was quite poignant, spotting the world's smallest primate, these tiny creatures. But knowing their numbers are dwindling down to maybe only 1,000 left because of habitat loss, it's sobering. Dinner was quinoa raw fish cured in calamansi juice, a real burst of fresh, tangy flavor. Yet even there, in this UNESCO geopark, our source couldn't help but to notice litter. At viewpoints, just discarded trash. A stark, tangible reminder that even paradise bears the scars of its popularity.
That observation about the litter in Bohol, it really crystallizes the tension, doesn't it? It's not some abstract policy problem. It's right there, visible, interrupting the beauty. This whole week-long immersion, as described, it beautifully illustrates the Philippines' soul, I think. From Manila's raw energy to Bohol's ethereal landscapes. It's a sensory feast, no doubt. But consistently, even amid the beauty, amid the celebration, those underlying environmental and infrastructural issues, they keep surfacing. It makes you feel the weight of balancing this vibrant cultural celebration with careful environmental stewardship. It's a daily challenge, something local guides often stressed, according to the source.
Yeah, that local perspective is key. From Bohol, the journey went on to Cebu, tying perfectly with the Sinulog Festival in January. Our source described 2 million attendees, celebrating the Santo Niño, the child Jesus. With this explosion of colorful costumes, drum beats, fervent chants, it's a powerful testament to Filipino faith and that strong sense of community. And the food. A street party offered lechon roasted pig, hailed as Asia's best by some food critics, a real culinary highlight. Yet just kilometers away, on Mactan's beaches, the reality check. 30% coral bleaching reported in 2024, largely due to over-tourism impacts. That direct contrast again, isn't it? Profound celebration right alongside undeniable environmental stress.
Such a stark juxtaposition, celebration and degradation side by side.
Exactly. And the deep dive concluded in Palawan. Here, our source experienced diving at Tubataha Reef. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, just bursting with life, hundreds of fish species, coral species, described as breathtaking, an underwater spectacle, though even here in this protected area, divers noted about 20% coral loss from warming seas. That's a global challenge, compounding local pressures, of course. Then in El Nido, kayaking through these stunning limestone lagoons, followed by sisig for dinner. That sizzling pork dish, often proudly using local ingredients. Palawan's pristine beauty, maybe more than anywhere else, really amplified the urgency of conservation. It almost felt like a silent plea from the landscape itself, reading the account.
This itinerary, so vividly portrayed in the sources, it really makes these challenges feel tangible, not just abstract data points. You connect immediately to why conservation matters so deeply when you read about these places. And the local perspectives, particularly from guides encountered along the way, they continuously reinforce that the impact isn't just, out there. It's seen in the litter, in the declining coral, in the water shortages impacting people's daily lives. So it makes you wonder, given this palpable beauty and these really evident struggles, what concrete efforts are being made? How are they trying to protect this incredible heritage?
Right, that's the critical question.
Mm-hmm.
And beyond the specific destinations, the sources really paint this picture of the Philippines' incredibly rich cultural tapestry. It's this vibrant blend, indigenous, colonial, modern influences all mixed together. Truly unique. Festivals like Sinulog or Ati-Atihan, they aren't just tourist shows. They showcase deep Catholic devotion, yes, but intertwined with ancient pre-colonial traditions. It reflects the fact that 85% of Filipinos identify as Catholic.
Yeah.
And the cuisine. From adobo to halo-halo, that amazing dessert. It's not just delicious food, it's a celebration of regional diversity, often using like 60% local ingredients.
That connection to local produce is so important.
It really is. And music and dance, from those soulful kundaman ballads to the rhythmic tinkling bamboo dances, they're cultural staples,
Right.
apparently performed at 90% of community events, so truly integral to their identity. And, of course, their hospitality is legendary. A 2024 survey ranked Filipinos among the world's friendliest people, cited by 95% of tourists surveyed. So it's crystal clear why people are drawn here. But, as you asked, what are the concrete efforts being made to address those mounting challenges we've discussed?
Okay, so that's the crucial next step, isn't it? How do they protect all this? And our sources show the Philippines is actively tackling these issues. But it's complex. It's an uphill battle. For instance, there's the National Tourism Development Plan covering 2023 to 2028. It's ambitious. One key aim is to actually cap visitor numbers at fragile sites, like Tubataha Ruth, limiting them to 50,000 annually. Now, that's a clear step towards managing density, trying to reduce the pressure.
That sounds promising, but is it enough?
Well, that's the question. Enforcement is key. Yeah. And ensuring these caps don't just, displace the problem to other vulnerable areas is a real challenge. Beyond top-down policy, community-led efforts seem really vital. In Bohol, for example, you have these ecotourism cooperatives. They're training locals to manage sustainable tours themselves. This apparently created employment for about 10,000 people by 2024. So that empowers the communities directly, giving them a real stake in preservation, which is great.
That makes a lot of sense. Local buy-in.
Exactly. And reforestation projects are also ambitious. The aim is to restore 1 million hectares by 2030, trying to directly counter that devastating deforestation we talked about. However, and it's a big however, the sources consistently highlight that funding shortages are a major hurdle. Only about 40% of the planned $2 billion eco-budget had actually been allocated. That financial gap, it really underscores the critical need for global support. Things like UNESCO's conservation grants are crucial, but clearly it's not enough on its own.
Wow. Okay, my friends. This deep dive has been, well, quite a journey, a real whirlwind of sensory delights, but also some pretty sobering realities. From Manila's urban pulse and Bohol's almost surreal hills, to Cebu's incredible festive spirit and Palawan's pristine reefs, we've captured, I hope, the immense diversity of the Philippines, that warmth of the locals, like that story the Cebu vendor just sharing fresh on with our source, that truly embodies the legendary Filipino hospitality.
Yeah.
But we've also seen the undeniable literate tourist sites. We've felt the strain on the infrastructure. It just underscores the vital, urgent need for sustainable practices.
It really brings the dilemma into sharp focus.
It does. The Philippines isn't just a destination you tick off a list. It feels like a powerful lesson in resilience, in joy, and, a living case study in how we balance cultural celebration with environmental care. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? As a traveler, or maybe even just as a global citizen, what is our ultimate responsibility in helping to preserve such treasures? Not just for tourism, but for its own people, for their future. So as this vibrant nation continues its global rise, this incredible trajectory, how do we collectively ensure its natural wonders and its cultural heart are preserved for generations to come? How do we prevent them from being consumed by their own success? What specific steps do you think are most effective when a country becomes such a global sensation, facing these kinds of pressures? Something to think about.